Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Press Talk Sports Live. I am your host, Jeff Weisinger, joining me, as always, for one of the few last times before he goes off and goes to get an education, I guess.
Something like that.
Juan Cebrieros. What's going on, man?
It's graduation. It's graduation week.
Happy grad week.
Which also means it's the week that you're going to wake up and it's 90 degrees already. So,
I mean...
Doesn't matter.
I woke up at 6:30 this morning, and the sun was just like right through my window, and I thought it was like aliens.
It could be snowing the first Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. As soon as Thursday hits and there's that first graduation, it's going to be triple digits, and that's just how it works out here.
Can you imagine if it snowed in Brentwood?
I guarantee if it snowed on Wednesday, the Thursday of a graduation, it would just be 110. I guarantee it.
I am waiting for it. I was at the where was I? The Independence. I was at a lot of stuff yesterday, but I was at the Independence graduation yesterday. There were no signs, and I found that really because usually when I shoot the graduations,
I wonder if they.
Huh?
I wonder if there's new rules this year for graduations.
I hope not. Because you know what? Last year, like everyone had like the fat heads.
Yeah. Those were really popular last year.
Yeah, everyone had the big heads, and it was like everyone's kid, but when they were like 3.
Yeah.
Which made it awesome. That's congratulations, class 2025. It is grad week. The joy.
It's been 3 years since I graduated. Oh god.
I know, you're getting old. It's been 20 for me, so how do you feel?
I'll feel really old when all the teachers I had are retired or not even at Liberty anymore.
They're close to it.
That's when I'll feel really old.
But enough about us. We have a very special guest. Here for another episode, but here for first time under a different role, and this is kind of cool because we have not had this on the podcast yet. Ladies and gentlemen, joining us today, NCS champion head coach Brandy Macias of Liberty Softball.
Thank you so much for having me. You guys make this fun. Hello.
We try to make this fun. If we don't, we start losing viewers.
Absolutely.
So
then we start saying things to get more.
Oh boy. Don't do that today.
We've said enough. Trust, I've said enough on this in general. Welcome back.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So much congratulations needs to be said. NCS champions, congratulations on that. It's NorCal's regional first round champions.
Wow.
Hang the banner.
First state win in program history, I think.
Is it?
We got to check. I'm waiting to hear back from Cebrieros. I hope he knows how to respond to a text message. But waiting to hear back on that because. Did the 97 team win the state playoff game?
I don't know. I tried to look it up on.
Imagine we had a website that charted all that.
That'd be amazing.
No, you gotta go to the LUHSD library, dust off this old text.
That's how old I am.
Do.
Yeah, I got you.
And on the scroll that said the 1997 season.
That's super cool.
But seriously, congratulations.
Thank you.
The first question I want to ask. And before we get into this entire run, I've been wondering this since last night, and pretty much since the semifinal. Where do you get the nerve to start bunting in the playoffs? And I asked this. I'm looking at this. I'm like, this team's got hitters. Like 1 through, what do you got? 15 girls on the roster.
I have 15 girls on.
So 1 through 15, there's power on the roster. They're all like solid hitters. They all can make great contact. Have great hits, all that stuff offensively. And you're trading 300 feet shots for the 3-foot dribblers. And my first thought was, okay, until I realized we're in a freaking NCS semifinal. And I'm like, this is the playoffs. At the same time, not only are you getting great bunts, you're getting doubles on bunts.
Yeah.
Speed was not something I thought much of this roster. Like, I knew it was kind of there. But I knew it mainly was Taylor. I knew it was there with leadoff and was Kelsey a little bit. Can we talk about bunting with power? Like, it's just it's a very interesting dynamic. I mean, and I'm being facetious when talking about it, but it's interesting dynamic because when people think of this roster, it is she can hit it over the fence. She can hit it over the fence. The list goes on, and the bunting is like it catches everyone. I mean, we talked about it yesterday. Bunting catches everyone off guard. Like, to start off with, when did you kind of add that game to it? Because you haven't done, the 2 years I've covered y'all, you haven't done a lot of it, right. if any.
Well, we work it every day because it is such an important aspect of the game. But the element of surprise is what I think any great coach needs to emphasize in any of these games. And I know during playoffs, these are not going to be blowouts by any means. So we're going to have to mix it up a little bit. Well, I mean, typically.
We'll get to that after this.
I mean, the two that I think, or three that have really done such a great job. I mean, Caitlin was hitting a ton of home runs. She's one of our best bunters on the team. So when you see the corners playing bags or whatever, I mean, what a great opportunity when you have somebody at third and you can either give me a fly ball or a bunt at that time. And I hadn't utilized it that much, so I knew it was a good time. And then Kelsey's she has so much speed, and she can do the same thing. She can hit one out or the small game, and she's fantastic with her hands. So to me, it was a fun decision because I knew that the element of surprise was there.
I think the crazy part is you're doing this really more with the top of your lineup. You know, when you think, I mean, you can correct me if I'm wrong from a baseball standpoint, but when you think, you know, your top bunters, it's usually your five below, right? More so at bottom of the order, right?
Sometimes we lead off.
Sometimes we lead off,
yeah,
right?
Sure.
But usually your 7 through 1
Sure.
is you know, maybe your 2. You're really doing this with not only your 2 and 3 hitters mostly, but also your 2 and 3 hitters who are two of your best hitters on your team.
Sure.
I think of, you know, when you think of the NCS semifinal against Foothill, you know, you think of the way you guys rallied back was from small ball, right? It wasn't
or even
a small
against
game.
Casa Grande.
In Casa Grande, you lead off with
first run, yeah.
Well, you
Right.
have Lila Partridge thrown in the circle. She's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
And so we knew we were going to have to mix things up because of what we had faced her at Stampede.
Right.
And she no-hit us. I mean, and so going into that game, we knew that was going to be essential to try to get balls in play and make something happen. And we made some adjustments at the plate for her too. So, it's an essential part of this game that I think sometimes I get really lucky because we hit so well and kill the ball that it's fun to watch them hit. You know? So I have been letting them just hit all season, but they're fantastic bunters as well.
I feel like when, especially in the title game, when you bunted in that bottom of the first, I mean, Taylor gets on to lead off single, and then, you know, Kelsey bunts to move her over perfectly, and then, like, you know, Caitlin just kind of comes through with the RBI double. I feel like you kind of sucker punched Casa Grande in that regard, right? And I think that's kind of what your small ball game is doing, just because everyone's so they see the power, right? I mean, last year they saw it with Jewel. This year you've seen it with Bella. You've seen it with Caitlin. You've seen it with the list goes freaking on. You've seen it with Taylor as of late.
Right.
I mean, she's hitting everything out the park now.
She's incredible. You
know, it's kind of interesting, like. It's so. How do you prepare? If I may ask, if you go up against you're going up against a team like your team, that you know has all this power and can hit the ball, can spray the ball everywhere, really. How do you prepare for a team that they can do all this and they can kind of hit successfully 3 feet in front of us?
Well, I'm not going to give our secrets away, as you know, but I would not throw the ball in the zone. I mean, that's all I would say against our team because. They hunt for that.
Right.
They hunt for a good pitch. They hunt for something. And they've been very disciplined at the plate. So depending on who's behind the plate umpiring, we got to make those adjustments as we go. Mm-hmm. But our NCS run, we've had some great umpires, and so we're able to really focus in on the zone. Mm-hmm. But I wouldn't want to throw to us. I can't even answer that question.
Not even if you're Lila Partridge.
You know, like, it's like when Buck Showalter walked Bonds with the bases loaded, but... your lineup's kind of full of Bonds, so you can't do that unless you want to start walking in runs, which, kudos to you. But, I mean, this team is just... It really seems like you guys are, A, don't really have a big blaring weakness, and B, just seem to be clicking all cylinders at the right time of the year. Just how you guys being able to put everything together at this point of the year, because it's really remarkable. I mean, you guys are playing softball at the same time the NCAA tournament's going on still.
Right. Which is so fun to watch. Yeah. It's so fun to watch on our off time. Listen, it's been incredible in that I've told you guys we don't want to ever peak at the beginning. And so it's just getting them little team bonding stuff, just getting them to really kind of flow as people. And then I've always said if you care about each other, you're going to fight for each other. And that's what they're doing right now. I mean, I think more importantly, they're representing their school. They realize in high school, and I've done this now 3 years, whereas I was primary travel ball coach, and I used to think, high school's not that important. It is important. It is important for the school, honestly, it's the only place a banner is going to be hung forever. and you're going to be able to represent that. And this community, I mean, I'm just so thankful that we're able to now represent in such a positive way. It's been really just a great ride, but they're really close right now, and they do not want it to be over. I mean, we have 2 seniors, and they don't want it to end for them either. So the fight is going to continue.
I think that's the crazy part about this team. And for the 2 years I've covered you guys, like, this is a young team.
Yep.
And if you think about even last year, you only had, 3 seniors? There's Paige, Kaylee, and...
we had 4.
4.
Yep.
And I appreciate my editor doing
I
missed it.
Hey, you didn't miss much, trust me. But it's interesting how young this team is. I mean, next year's the big year, really. When you think about it, it's like, 10 seniors?
Yes.
That's going to be a long senior day.
Yeah, it's going to be a long
It's going to be first pitch 2:00, senior ceremony. First pitch 4:00, senior ceremony is 2:00.
Absolutely.
But with that said, you and I talked about the window of whatever you guys are going to do, right?
Especially
talk about capitalizing right now, because I mean, did you, in your mind, and I think I know the answer to this, but in your mind, did you think you would capitalize in this kind of way?
Listen, I know they're capable of it. Where we have to really think about it is, the quality of the team that we're playing. And so I just envisioned these being very competitive, close games. I'm not, that's what it normally happens. And am I surprised of our offense? Absolutely not. You guys have been watching it all season. As long as they do what I know they're capable of and we go in with the same game plan, I'm not surprised. But these games, as we continue to go, usually are not going to be blowout games. They're going to be close.
Speaking of not blowout games, let me ask you this, because when you think about the regional opening yesterday, Tuesday, depending when people watch this, the build-up was really interesting, because you think about the first inning, Taylor automatically was with the leadoff home run. You kind of get the offense going right away. Kylie McKinney gets to.
I'm so proud of her.
Your 1-hitter and your 9-hitter.
Yeah.
Pretty much do the thing, right? It was in the first inning. You go up 5-0. And back in my mind, I was like, okay, well, I was at the matchup last year when it was really back and forth. You guys came back down 4 different times.
For sure.
From various, instant amount of runs here, and you guys came back from it. It's really what it was, right?
Yes.
And I'm thinking, when the girl for Central Catholic hits the home run, what was her name again? Amaya something. I know you text me the name of it too.
It's right here.
I want to give it a shout out because I feel like it was kind of like a monster shot.
Amaya Gustavus.
Amaya Gustavus. When she hits the 3-1 shot, I'm just like, okay, here we go. Because my first thought, this is gonna be.
Sure.
I knew it was. Back of my mind, I knew it wasn't gonna be that kind of like, okay, it's gonna be a 7, 8, 9-0 win.
5-0. They hit a 3-1 shot.
Right.
Okay,
like,
this is a game.
Here we go.
Sure.
Here we go. Right. I got a little bit fearful. I'm like, okay. And then the bottom half, the girls were like, we're not doing this time.
Nope.
7-run 4th inning. I know I've asked you this yesterday, but I guess for the sake of the pod, what did you say to the girls in the middle inning, in between the innings, to have that? Because that wasn't. I don't think anyone saw that in the cards, like the way that kind of played out.
Well, what I told them is, we have to pick Kate up. She's been our monster arm all season. And so, we knew when we get, she threw one over the middle, and she's not going to be perfect, and we know that. And she's going to give up hits and runs, and those things are going to happen, and it's how we respond. And so our team came together, and they responded for her. And that's what's so great about this team, is that they pick each other up. And so, Kate had the look of, I just let you guys down, and man, that's not going to happen. She hasn't let us down all season. And so it was our turn to pick her up, and they responded. Not surprising. Whatever.
One way to put it.
They
one way to put it.
That was amazing.
They responded. They called, and then Bella called game pretty much.
Oh my
next
gosh.
That home run to me was really, that was coming. I think she's had a couple shots that kind of fell just short, kind of got maybe just too high.
Earlier in the game, one got knocked down by the wind.
She's just letting it travel a little deep. If you look at it, we go back and look at film or in pictures, and I'll tell you, if she hit that maybe 3 inches out in front, that's not even a thought.
Right.
So,
and
yes.
we know the power is there.
Oh,
but
for sure.
To see her get that, it felt so, when you think of like how close she's been, not just even early in the game, but in the NCS title game, in the semifinal, towards the end of the season, that home run, to me, that home run's been coming. How cool was it to kind of see her finally get rewarded for just staying with it.
And just when it came, too.
Oh, my gosh. Well, and I said that. I go, you can do it right now. And she just had a grin ear to ear. And then I looked at Caitlin. They were fighting over it. Like, if you don't do it, I'll do it. So it was super cool to see Bella and then Caitlin on deck. Because I'm like, that is any girl's dream in that moment to walk it off, especially in a game like yesterday. And Bella did it. And I'm just so proud of those moments for them, because those are things that she's going to remember for the rest of her life. And to have the celebrations and, and everybody's running at you when you're coming into home plate and touching the plate, and just knowing you just walked off against an incredible team that, like you said, last year, we battled our hearts and souls out. I mean, when we walked off the field last year, we were tired. We gave it everything we had. And so what a moment for Bella. She deserved that.
When you come back 4 different times down the combine. I think you trailed the combine like 12. I mean, of the 4 comebacks. Sure. I think you trailed a combined maybe 12 runs.
Oh, I'm sure.
I mean, there was like a 4-run comeback. There was a 3-run, a 5-run comeback. Like, there was a time when they went up 5 last year. I was like, okay, well, this is fun. This is cool.
It just seemed like you guys needed last year, though, like to get a little bit of a taste, but also that heartbreak to really motivate you guys going into this season.
Absolutely.
And I feel like that's kind of what you see now, this tear you guys have just gone at the end of the season. Do you think, like, I know last year you said everyone wants to win NCS every year, obviously. Sure. But do you really think you guys needed that kind of heartbreak last year to get to this point this year?
Well, I think last year we ended with that feel. You just want to feel that. If you go out on a loss and you put it all out there, you got to tip your caps to the other team. But we didn't play our game. We were off. I mean, there's no excuse, but everybody saw it. It was really, from warm-ups on, it just was a weird feeling. And so I don't think they wanted to feel that again. And obviously now the sky's the limit for these guys. But no, I will answer yes. That was a hard taste to feel for a long time, and we didn't want to feel that again. So they're going to go out giving it everything they've got, and know that we did everything we could to stay on top.
Last year, when we talked last year after the loss at College Park, you mentioned things just felt kind of off, right? Yeah. I guess a year later, if I may ask, what was it that felt off about that game? And B, have you tried to kind of if you have been able to try to avoid that off type feeling?
Yeah, is there sage being burned? Are there...
No, I think there was a lot of emotion. There was a lot of nerves. We hadn't been there. So it was uncharted territory for us, I guess you could say, even though that was our end-all goal. So now it was like, hey, this is our goal. We did it. We're going to blast past it. And now what can we do now? Next year's going to be very difficult. I mean, every year we've done something bigger and better. And now it's just a consistency. I talk about that word a lot with you guys. You're probably so sick of that word, but that's what they're doing. But no, I just think getting on a consistent emotional aspect for each game has helped us to where we're at, and knowing we should be here. That we should. This isn't by chance anymore.
How hard has that been? I mean, you also won 16 in a row, which I believe may be a program record. I got to double check, because last year I think your longest streak was like 12.
Yeah.
So you win 16 in a row. Not only win 16 in a row, 5 in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Four straight in the postseason against quality. I mean, San Marino was really good. Sure. Foothill was really good. Foothill was hot going into the postseason.
They were.
Casa Grande was good all year.
Really good.
Central Catholic was
always competitive.
Yeah. It was solid, and then especially after last year.
They've got some hitters.
Talk about just how hard has it been, or how much of a challenge is it to keep that consistency?
Well, that's
or better yet, is that something that's more on the girls really than how we can handle?
I think we are all enjoying this postseason, because that's what we've really trained for. Our preseason, we trained really hard, and then we had B-Vals, which, the competition was up and down, so that consistency was really hard.
We don't talk about the B-Vals.
Yeah, so that was hard to maintain, but as we're going in, I mean, now it's just, hey, play our game to the best of our ability, because it's going to be a competitive game, and I think their fight is wanting that. We want to play the best. We do. We want to play the best.
In your view, just as someone who you've swung out a couple pitches in your career, you've played a couple games.
Long time ago.
Last I checked, if you walk into the hallways, the athletic hallways of Iowa, they do scream your name. You open a door, it says Brandy Macias, and it's like, oh, okay.
That was all team. It was all team.
But if I may ask, you've been around this game for a long time, so I guess from personal opinion, coach, when if you step outside and look at this team from the outside, how much better can this team be? Because you also you're losing 2 seniors. You have this entire team. Unless a transfer portal hits out of nowhere, you have this team coming back.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
How much how much more does this team grow? How does this team grow going into next season? I know we still got to deal with Thursday and Saturday.
Sure.
But how much more does this team kind of go? Because we're talking we're talking dynasty in my opinion. We're talking really something kind of special when you look at the body of work and where this team was before and everything.
Well, I think if you look at any athlete, a year from now, there's going to be strength, there's going to be power, there's going to be, obviously, they're going to be more knowledgeable. So they're going to be a lot better than they are today, just based on those elements, because that's what they should be doing. And most of them play travel, so they're playing year-round. They're strength training year-round. So you have someone like Kate that's already incredibly powerful. She's going to be even stronger next year. So that's what I'm excited to be a part of. I mean, I feel so blessed to really be at the helm of this, but to watch these incredible athletes just grow and grow as one. It's they're going to be stronger next year. I'm just being.
This has kind of been the typical when new GMs and coaches get hired, they typically bring out a 3-year plan of first year, second year you're going to contend, third year is really the year. That's kind of what this.
That's really what's happening.
That's really what's kind of been in this situation, and just to be battling for state in your third year, what's that kind of just like?
You know what? It's allowed me to bring everything my coaches in my past have taught me, and so I've just really tried to give that back to these girls because I knew how meaningful it was as an athlete, and just to bring in such a positive culture. That's what I think we needed here. I've told you guys in the past, my first year, the talent was here. It's just they didn't really even want to be on the field. It was really a sad thing to see, but I'm like, gosh, I have these kids that are still coming out, so I know they want to be here. It's just wanting them to love to be there. And so that first year was just a challenge in changing culture, especially the seniors that had been there for 4 years, and they wanted it though. They wanted change. They were hoping for change, and that's all we did is we supported them. We let them know what their value was. And once you do that with any athlete, they're going to run through walls for you. You guys see that left and right. And so that has happened. And I think they know I love them and that I support them, and they're going to fail. That is the name of this game. But I want to teach them how to recover and respond to those failures a lot sooner than probably past teams.
I think just getting into that a little bit, because I went to Liberty, class of 22, which was decades ago.
So old.
Really?
So
old. You're talking
God.
to? That is yesterday to me.
That was just out of COVID. Oh my goodness. That's black and white TV.
But I remember, I had friends who played softball, and I remember them just saying, I don't even want to go out for the team. I just kind of done with softball. And I'm just like, but the talent's there. The talent has always been there. It just seems like you've really reshaped.
Rock. I have a couple, people I can Paige, Rhett Steen, Rock. Those were they literally came to me and said they were going to run track. That's what they had planned to do prior to me coming in. And so, they took a chance in coming out to workouts and see what the culture would kind of be like. And I'm so thankful they stuck it out, because those guys have been, they were the beginning of all of this, and they helped educate me on what had transpired and what they want. And I thank them to this day.
We talk about the seniors. I mean, Paige and Rock kind of old news. They kind of graduated. But, Isabel Mercado is really the one, when I think about this team specifically, she was part of that, the last regime, right?
For sure.
She was there before. Not only, your thoughts are just her having this moment, but also she's played well in this postseason.
Great.
Her bat's really kind of alive end the season into the playoffs. What's it like seeing her kind of take advantage of this moment, so to say?
Well, I'm not surprised. That kid works really hard. And, I've known her since she was 10. And so she was always this tiny little thing that I could see from the outskirts, just working, probably one of the hardest working kids out there. And so she had to do that and able to be as successful as she is now. And so now to be able to see what I've known she was capable of doing. I have so much pride in her right now. And, you look to her. She's one of our leaders. And she has so much determination every time she's at the plate or when she gets a ball and she wants to throw a runner out at the plate. She deserves it. This is her senior year. And I know how hard she's worked for a long, long time to have these moments. You
talk about you coached her for a long time. When I asked her at the NCAA title game about the final out, when Kelsey was running in to catch it, she mentioned that she was sprinting from left field all the way in. What's it like for you kind of watching this happen for her, right? You've coached her since she was a kid. You've seen her, you know what she went through when she first got to this program. What's it been like for you kind of seeing her experience all this?
Well, I just grin ear to ear watching her smile and the celebrations and the happiness. And, there's been a couple pictures of her personally and her arms are in the air and her, the smile. Those are moments of joy. Right. And that's all you want for kids that have worked so dang hard. That's what it's about. Just she is now excelling in the sport she loves. I mean, how can you ask for anything more than that as a coach? So obviously I'm very, very proud of all of them. But for her, it's been a pure joy for me to watch.
I've got to ask you, you kind of touched on it earlier, the B-Val. It's been something that
almost every coach in their respective sport has said something about.
Right. So I'm curious. I was watching, what was it, the Cal High podcast? Niners Cal High podcast. And they kind of brought you guys up because they were crying their eval tears. And it really started, I think I sent it to you. Did I send it to you?
I don't look at half the stuff you send me, no offense.
You should. Get in the habit of that. But there was a clip in the pod where they talk about, this is the first year in the NCS D1 final, softball final, there was no eval team. It was Casa Grande and Liberty, right?
Yeah.
And it's funny because they said, in a way, it was almost like, well, if the eval team was here, then Liberty wouldn't have been here, except you guys went to Foothill and you guys went to...
I've heard that from a few other reporters, too, for it was a weak year for NCS. I'm like, it wasn't necessarily weak, just the typical teams weren't in it.
I'm curious, two parts. I'm curious, two-parter. I'll start with this one. As a coach, and you can talk about it, cool, if you want to be honest about it, great. If you can't talk about it, understand. How much do you feel as if... Because if you look at this, the B-Val, it's... You guys, it's Heritage and it's really a 3-horse race in a 6-team league, right? Heritage they're trying to figure it out. Freedom, I feel like, is going to make the biggest jump this year, next year under Spacito, and then you have everyone else who's having fun. I have other ways I can put that, but we're going to say they're having fun, right? How much do you feel as if this league hurts you guys compared to leagues like the eval, where everyone's like, this is God's league, this is like the league, et cetera, et cetera?
Well, it's out of our control. And so it's been somewhat difficult at times because, we prepare, obviously, preseason to get us going for season. And listen, the 3 teams you're referring to, they have their heart out there. They're doing their best. It's not their fault either, right? And so we've tried to come together and figure out how to make those teams stronger so it would be a more competitive league for us. But, all I keep hearing is how it hurts us because we don't have the strength of schedule that maybe the other leagues do have. And so it's frustrating for me as a coach for my players because it kicks us down. And, we're doing the best we can with what is given to us and what we can do, with still being respectful to the teams that we play. And so it's been a balance for me, but as it being my 3rd year, I'm trying to understand it, how, I'm hoping that, more of the people that do these votes can come out and watch our team against, quality teams and see how we compete. And that should be, more of an essence of where we should sit when it comes to these rankings.
It's really...
I will say the sad part is, Highway 4 is such a long freeway. Once you get past Railroad Avenue, it's just like, well, it's almost like being on the 5 and being with all that grassland, right? It's such a far... Vasco isn't... We hate driving Vasco, but Vasco is...
Lovely.
I know.
But it's interesting because it does feel like it's very interesting you mentioned it. You mentioned those people coming out to watch, right? Because I think about in pro sports East Coast bias.
Sure.
Everyone's focused on the East Coast.
Oh, we got a Yankees fan talking about East Coast bias.
First off, I will not take slander of the kingdom on this podcast. Second of all,
it's okay. We always got 0-4.
Second of all, the fact that you keep bringing that up just proves my point.
God bless those Red Sox. Am I right, guys?
No. But I do. It's interesting because we talk about East Coast bias in pro sports. People focus New York, Miami, Dallas,
even in college
Chicago.
sports, you see it too.
Yeah,
right.
sure.
But then anything past the gateway to the West, really, like, no one really talks about Cal and,
the Pac-12 blew up.
Pac-12,
Sure.
All that kind of stuff. Does it kind of feel like that in a sense where you have, if you guys are doing your thing, Liberty basketball was kind of doing a thing. They were,
We're calling it East County bias.
I almost want to call it. I almost kind of want to call it that though, right? Where it's funny because the EBAL was like west of everything.
I know, huh?
Geography, yes. But does it kind of, jokes aside, does it kind of feel like that when, in a sense, like you guys feel so overlooked because of everyone's so focused on EBAL and no one wants to go west of like Bailey? East of Bailey, excuse me.
It's more frustrating because honestly, I keep asking everybody, what more can we do? What more can we do? What more can John Hines do for Liberty basketball? And he kind of told me, hey, do the best you can, have the best non-league games to prep, but you're probably going to get kicked down once you get into postseason. And we can only control what we can control, and so. Is it frustrating? Yes, as a coach, and I see the talent level that my girls have, for them to have to, be somewhere where I think they've earned a different spot. Yeah, it's frustrating, but what are we going to do? I don't know what we're going to do about it.
When you guys got top seed for the bracket, obviously everyone's happy about it. You always want to be the number one seed going to the playoffs, stuff like that. But considering the thoughts behind it, do you, in a way, does it kind of feel like they were trying to say, like, maybe they didn't see us, so they were trying to set you up for failure? Because this was the first year there was no EBAL teams in a Division I final. Like,
I think they make the bracket before the championship game, but I'll double check that.
But you know what I'm saying, right? Like, it does. When I heard that yesterday, and this is no slight because like we like those people, we like the guys at Cal High, like we're cool with Jake and all of them, with Jake and Robert.
This is an interesting argument.
But it's very because like the other guy they had, he was like.
Don't they have the opportunity to win those games to be in NCAA?
Yeah,
ideally.
So the way
no, I'm
absolutely.
serious.
The way Hind explained it to me too is like when you look at college, winning your conference or your league in this situation is like the biggest thing. And if you can go undefeated in your conference, even better.
Unless
that should
you're in the B-Val,
which is like you play for that before you get to the postseason 9 times out of 10, unless you're like Alabama or whatever. But that's a different argument.
Right.
But in this case for you guys, that's the situation. But it feels like you're being punished for going undefeated in league when this is something that should be celebrated. Like Liberty basketball hasn't lost a league game in 4 years, and instead of that being talked about,
they still get destroyed in the granted.
Yeah,
everyone else, but
and that's that's more so talked down upon them instead of celebrated. Where do you guys kind of view going into the season with this kind of?
Well, listen, I don't listen to the noise. I don't. Right. I don't listen to the noise. I hope our girls aren't listening to the noise with the way they're performing. But when we got number 1 seed, we celebrated that because you know what? We're going to be at home. We're going to be at home for the majority of our games and let our community celebrate with us. So we took it as an absolute, we earned it. And others saw what we had potential of because we initially thought we were probably going to be 3 or 4 seed based on past.
It was this weird thing where like, Casa Grande had beaten you guys, but you guys had beaten Livermore, but SRV had beaten you. It was this weird circle.
Because why should it make sense?
You
know. That's like, okay. I wasn't surprised, but I was very thankful that we had 1 seed just so we can play in front of our home.
What was kind of the reaction when the state bracket came out and you guys were bumped down to Division II?
Well, me personally, I was a little disappointed for our girls. As a competitive coach, I want to play against the best. Whether we win or lose, you're playing against the best. But I also know the quality of teams that are at the D2 level. I didn't realize that they're very good. This is the first year that everything was kind of situated because of max preps and all that. So it was a learning curve for me. So I think initially when we heard we were being bumped down but would host. It was a mix of emotions, right? Mm-hmm. And then when I saw the teams that were in the D2s, I was like, hey, these are legit teams. So, don't be that upset about it.
I think we looked at the D1 bracket yesterday. It was kind of a blessing. And not saying you guys couldn't win these games, but it was a blessing because you guys
We would be on the road a lot.
You'd have to go up to Del Oro,
Yep.
a few trips to San Jose, maybe even Fresno to Clovis.
Sure.
It might have been a blessing in disguise.
Yeah, I mean, I'd rather be home.
Imagine we had to go to Crescent City.
No, I know.
Without your seniors.
Without you.
And they still won.
And they still won. I remember talking to Coach after that game. He's like, it was just a remarkable win.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm glad they pulled that one out.
Do you feel, I guess while on topic, do you feel as if like just because of the league and because of all this, it's a lot of stuff you can't control around the program. Do you feel as if like seeing the girls kind of win and kind of fight back and kind of, you think about yesterday's win, right? What was it 14-3?
Yeah.
41-3, 51.
Same,
one hit.
What a mercy.
One hit. Changed that score. One hit.
One hit ended that game.
That is true.
Also true.
When you think about just the way the team's winning, you guys, in a way, you guys, in a sense, you guys kind of fighting the allegations. Oh, well, they're a B-Val team. They're lucky to be here. If the rest of the league was compared, everything you could list, right?
Sure.
Seeing the girls respond to this, what does that say to you?
Well, it tells me that they're trying to show any haters out there, because when you're at the top, you're going to get a lot of that. It just is what it is. You get a lot more attention.
They build you up to pull you down.
100%. And there's probably more of that want to pull you down.
We don't do that. We don't do that.
No, not you guys.
Okay.
But
you don't do. I'm kidding.
I think their play is speaking for themselves. They don't have to say anything.
Absolutely.
They don't have to say a word. They don't have to defend themselves. They're doing what they're doing, and I would hope that eventually people would see what they bring to the table and what quality they have within themselves. But listen, you're always going to have people that are going to pull you down or want to when you're at the top, and we're going to keep swimming. We're going to keep our heads up, and we're going to keep swimming forward. So it's okay. It is in sports. That's what happens. But I think the way they're responding is just not proving people wrong, but showing people what we're capable of.
The oversight, how much does that motivate you?
Oh, it's
especially as a coach.
They say we're not the underdog anymore, but I love that feeling of being the underdog.
It really feels like you guys have a target on your back now.
Yeah, we do. And
a bigger one now, to be honest.
Yeah.
The girls have earned it. They've earned that target.
Absolutely.
But then you have the naysayers. It's because of B-Val. Whatever they want to say, you're always going to have that. But I like the feeling of proving people wrong. I like it, and I think it's motivating, and they're motivated by it. But I think right now they're just playing for each other.
Mm-hmm. I saw that podcast last night, and I was like, there was one guy, and we did one.
It was a very interesting argument to bring up.
Okay.
It was I think it was like the last episode yesterday. So
yeah,
and Robert was like, you got to give Liberty credit because Liberty got in, and they know what E-Bell, but like they beat E-Bell teams coming.
Because it's like you win your league, and it's like. Is B-Val the greatest league of all time? No league. Well,
first off. The East Bay Athletic League is God's league, okay?
Right.
Let me just make that clear.
But even great teams have bad days, and the fact that you guys really haven't, you guys have had them, but they haven't reflected on the schedule yet.
We're completely jinxing it, just so you know.
It's okay.
We are so jinxing
It's okay. We're gonna play our game. We're okay.
I will bring my holy water from the Vatican.
Do whatever you gotta do. I'll take it.
But it's just really weird that you guys just it's kind of knocked instead of celebrated.
Well, we're celebrating,
yeah.
So they can knock it.
You should.
They can knock it, but these girls have worked really hard. We're gonna continue celebrating.
Oh, you should celebrate it. I mean,
heck yeah.
What's it like now having etched this? Not only yourself as a coach in only just 3 years, but also this whole team as a whole has really etched themselves into the Liberty Hall of Fame status.
This is pretty much you did it 20 years from now. We're gonna see the team.
Yeah, really.
It's
they deserve it. They deserve it. I mean, they've just been playing so well. It's a dream for me as a coach. It really is to see these girls just continue progressing. And again, we're not done. And then next year, I think we're going to be stronger, which is super cool. So,
which is the crazy part of this.
And there's a lot of tradition that comes with Liberty that you've seen now.
Oh my gosh, so much. And just the pride that honestly the community. One of my girls was telling me, she was downtown and. She had her Liberty shirt on and asked what team and did you guys win, and it was they all started just celebrating her. That's what it's about, and they feel like they're just walking around celebrities, and they should be proud of themselves. And for a women's sport, usually
absolutely.
that's even a bigger thing.
That's the crazy part. Like
This is really the first women.
Did you see our stands yesterday?
Oh yeah.
Everybody was
he couldn't
sitting
find a
on the
seat.
sidewalk.
I couldn't find a seat. I could barely find a place to stand.
I mean, honestly, I usually don't look out very often, but it was just packed.
Even at St. Mary's too.
Yes,
a lot of people made the drive out.
So many people went out there.
I've got to ask you, because you kind of touched on it a second ago, like, to see all the support. We talked about it a lot, like just the growth of women's sports and such, but to see all the support for girls' sport, especially in considering you guys have been, girls' sports don't usually get massive attention like this, right? When you think about it's like okay, they did this great thing and they won, cool, a little bit of hype, but this is like the entire spotlight's on you in this city.
Mr. Huckabee's missed the game.
Well, yeah,
Huckabee's not missing
sit out there. But we'll talk about that in a second. But
he can watch Game Changer in the office.
we had a coaches celebration last night. It was a coaches dinner where all the coaches from Liberty came. And when Cindy and I walked in the door, they all stood up and cheered. And I'm talking football, basketball, men's and women's sports. So
Coach Cable's been really vocal with you.
Oh my gosh, constantly.
I was on with the pizza yesterday.
He was one of the biggest ones that stood up and is like, I'm just so proud of you guys. But to have all the sports, especially football and basketball, I mean, they want so bad for us to be successful. That's a culture that is hard to find. You guys know that. I mean, in any level of sports, to have that sort of support. And that's why there's so much pride here. And I think that's why these girls want to fight so hard for everybody involved.
And I remember when I was a freshman, when Liberty football won state back in 2018, I remember how the community rallied behind it. And it had been some years since we've really had like a state contender. Yeah. Granted, Liberty basketball went to state this year, but they went down to Fresno, not on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
But just seeing everyone really
drive.
Yeah. Add a couple zeros and you're good. But seeing everyone really rally behind your team, is there any words you can say to just describe the feeling?
Just thankful that the girls get to feel that from the community. It makes them feel really important, and it makes them feel like all the sacrifice is worth it. And to have that banner hanging up there for the rest of their lives, honestly.
And even having a principal who's at every game.
Oh my gosh. He's in the outfield at every game.
Okay, so the story behind this, for those who don't know.
I was at this game.
Please tell this. This was I got the text of this, and I was just like, I nearly threw my phone when I read it.
So I believe it was against Casa Grande. No.
Mm-hmm. San Marin.
Mm-hmm. One of those Napa teams.
Yes, San Marin.
And so I got there, and I was on the first base side taking shots, and I saw Mr. Huckabee, so I was going to go say hi to him eventually because he always liked to say hi to him. And then I looked, I went on my phone in between innings, and I looked up, and he was gone. And his chair was gone. I'm like, where the hell did he go? Like, did he have a meeting or something? And I look out to left field where, like, there's this portable teacher's classroom with... And he and I think Miss Giraducci and Miss
Gooch was out there. There was all kinds of...
They're all out there. So I'm like, what happened to Huckabee? And then I think Cindy walked by and said we had to kick him out. Because I think you guys were down 4-3 at the point or something like that.
We went down. And I looked and he's sitting there. And I'm like, that is not where he sits. And so I leaned over, I go...
You need to leave.
Hey, Fawn, you gotta go. You gotta go. We're down right now. What is going on? And he looks at me and he goes,
I got you.
Grabbed his stuff, and I'm not kidding you. We just started hitting the crud out of him.
He left, and y'all scored 8 runs.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
But when you think principal and you think admin, you think of someone who's always dressing nice, very professional. But what's it like having someone you can joke like that with or have the support like that with?
You know, it makes it fun. He loves all the sports here, but he talks about softball just being his pride and joy. He loves it. And
we all remember his first pitch from last year.
Yeah, oh yeah. He needs to go work on that. We'll do that again next year, see if he's progressed. But I mean, you see he's at every game. He loves the girls. He comes out onto the field. He's so much pride in that guy, you can just tell. But he's just a down-to-earth, non-micromanaged. Mm-hmm. He trusts what he hires. He trusts we're going to get it done. He celebrates the girls. It is really cool. And in that moment of exchange, I didn't even have to elaborate. He's like, oh, I know. I'm out of here. He knew. And I looked out, and you could see his head peeked over left field, and we just started killing the ball. We started killing it.
And it's funny, because I remember when Mr. Huckabee hired, my dad My dad didn't know Mr. Huckabee, but he said, I really have a good feeling about this hire.
Yeah.
But that was back in 21. I was like, that's interesting because we're all at home. Like,
and he's been principal of the year. I mean, talking about accolades, that's a guy you should probably have come in because he is just a...
we have him come in, two things we're going to ask him are the first pitch and getting kicked out of the dugout.
Yeah, right? He might not want to come. Never mind.
No, but I remember when I won my Mad National Championship, every week when I advanced in playoffs, he'd send an email, he sent a mass email to everyone on the campus. And I'm someone who I don't like.
You don't like the attention.
Not really. So then when I'd go into like third period history and my teacher knows, I'm like,
they were celebrating.
To be fair, it was hard getting him on the podcast to begin with.
Really? Because you're so good at it.
No, don't gas.
So you were really shy.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
And I don't like 30 guys looking at me.
Right.
So like when my history teacher
or 2 guys looking at me. I'm just kidding.
So, I remember going into my national championship, Mr. Huckabee sent out an email saying, we have a guy playing for this. My third period history teacher, God bless Mr. Taylor, but this guy made a big deal out of it. And I just remember him saying, what are you doing Saturday afternoon? I'm like, what am I doing Saturday afternoon? I really tried to play it off. Like, what am I doing?
Right. Studying.
And I go, oh! And he goes, damn, you knew about that.
Yeah.
And he goes, dude, he sent it to everyone.
That's actually really cool, honestly. That's actually pretty cool.
But that's a testament to who he is.
Oh, yeah.
He is so supportive and wants to celebrate all success.
I want to ask you, we talk about Huggabees and kind of getting kicked out of the dugout and going to left field. You have your own teachers suite in left field now.
Yeah.
That's really become such. It's Gooch, it's Huck, it's Malzahn.
It's so many teachers.
Talk about that faculty. We talk a lot about Huckabee and and how much he supported, and we all see it. We've seen it if we've been around the team at home, even on the road. But having the teacher support like that, to where they have their own, almost like their own de facto.
They all know
where to go.
Section.
It's almost like when the A's used to play in Oakland.
God,
and
so long ago.
And they had that clubhouse. They had the clubhouse.
Yeah.
Was it right? Left.
One of those fields.
It was in the outfield.
Yeah.
They had the club. It reminds me so much of that. How cool is that part? It's not because you're not full-time. You're not faculty on campus, right? You're off. I'm off.
So I'm going to talk about 2 things, which is really cool. If you see Maddie Tuttle jump on the outfield fence, and they're all cheering for her, right? That was just what a moment for her because they were celebrating. And I don't know if it was Kylie McKinney also jumped. A couple of them were jumping on the fence, but that was really just a super cool moment, I think, for any athlete. But interesting, around 12 o'clock yesterday, I went out there and I was prepping the field. That's early. Mm-hmm. And there were people coming, putting their chairs up just to,
just to get
hold that section. I'm not kidding you. That early.
Left field? Oh, we're talking behind.
No, in general.
Just by the fence, in the stands. You had some older folks coming in and putting their seats in the stands. At 11:30 or noon, and then they left. Right? They just wanted to have their section, and so I'm like, the teachers go out there because that's their section.
Right.
But you have all these people that now are a little bit conscious of where they've sat all season. They're like, hey, this is where I'm sitting.
Yeah.
Nobody's taking a spot. But that's why I talked about how packed it is. You have all the faculty. You have so many students coming out. People from. Even other schools. We had, Freedom Kids coming out yesterday. The support has been incredible. So, but that is a cool corner. That's
that teacher suite's actually really cool.
I think I'm going to try to run out there next time and jump.
Because to be honest, off-campus coaches, I remember just being an off-campus coach. Off-campus coaches don't usually get the same kind of support.
No,
it's because you're there, but you're not really there like that. So they don't know you like that.
Right. I think because we're there we take so much pride in our field. I'm there daily, probably, just weeds, grooming, doing all the things we need to do to keep it, a prideful place that,
It's really beautiful, by the way.
Thank you.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, we work really hard and
needs lights, needs better Wi-Fi, but
I would love Mr. Afa Huckabee. I'd love lights. He's working on some things for us.
Yeah, Hein just told me some crazy ideas Mr. Huckabee has.
Yes, he does, and we'd be blessed with any of that. But we're there so often that the teachers come by and just talk to us. And again, I think we've built that rapport just in the last 3 years in the pride in our home field and what we want to represent. And so we've just gotten to know a lot of the teachers. And so now they come out and they love their students. A lot of the teachers, that's their students, and they're just so proud of them. I mean, there was a teacher last year that was like choo choo for Kate every pitch.
Kate, is that how Kate Train started?
Yeah. Well, no, that started when she was younger.
Okay.
And you'll have to have her mom and talk about
that's happening.
That would be a Kate Train, but so the teacher was now going. It was just. It's just been a really cool thing to see these teachers support their student athletes.
What's it like? Have you had any conversations with Gooch about this? Because she's Liberty.
Legend.
Legend. Through and through.
We talked last night. She actually has a doctor's appointment she's supposed to have tomorrow before our game, and she's like, "Oh no, I'm moving that earlier. I gotta be out there."
I saw her at St. Mary's.
Yes.
I love that.
She is like, "I'm there. I love you guys. I love what you're doing. This isn't." She used to coach softball. You know what I mean? So she's coached so many different sports, and you have a legend like that is so.
She's also Liberty alumni.
Yeah.
40 years she just got. 40. I mean, that's
teaching. She was my history teacher's PE teacher when he went there.
I mean, I'm old. I was 9 years old when she was teaching. I'm like,
had to do the math on that real quick.
Yeah.
My history teacher graduated in '88, I think, or 92.
For you, who've been here for 3 years, and like you come here with your own set of accolades as well. Don't get me wrong, but to have someone like Gilducci just like sing your praises and considering how much of a staple she's been, not just for Liberty, but also like just the Brentwood community in general.
Absolutely.
What does that mean? What does that mean to you?
Oh, it means everything. I mean, you know how it is being the new kid on campus and trying to break that barrier and earn any type of respect, especially from somebody like that. And I think she just knows who we are as people. I mean, we've had a lot of long discussions about what she's kind of gone through in many instances, and just the fact that she understands we're wanting to really do this for the girls and to make them better people. They're going to be better athletes at the end of this, but just having a great experience and help mold them into quality people. She gets it. And to have somebody like her to support us, are you kidding me? That's really an end all game.
Coach girls too.
Absolutely. Right. She's coached girls and boys. And she's had it rough at times, but celebrated, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, she's just somebody I look up to and always will. And so thankful. She's at every game now. I mean, she's going to change a doctor's appointment to be in our game tomorrow.
If I could change a graduation, I'd be in Fairfield.
Damn, that sucks, don't it?
I know.
That's another conversation. I wish whoever makes the decision to have this timeline, if we could just push it back 1 week.
That wasn't the case. That wasn't the case last year.
No, I feel like we started later this year.
Because I remember,
and it's running into all graduations.
Because I remember boys volleyball starting a substantial week and a half, 2 weeks before the spring, before baseball, softball.
Right.
And I was like,
I don't feel like anybody should have to rush through or try to, coordinate around a graduation. I mean, it's such a big. You only get to do that once, right?
Well, hopefully.
Been to college, hopefully. My son graduates tomorrow from 8th grade. I hope that's not his only one. I'm just kidding. But I'll be missing it. I'll be missing my sons, right? So if they would just have done this 1 week before, man, it would just, I think,
I'm going to bypass the shade to your son, but...
Because I just remember him, because usually they do B-Val baseball, softball tournament. I remember him telling me, we're not doing that this year. I'm like...
Right. So I thought we would still start at the same time, but it would just be a week earlier.
So my question now is, okay, so say you win on, and God willing, you win on Thursday. You go to Saturday's championship.
Is it Saturday?
It would be Saturday.
Okay.
Liberty's graduation is Friday.
Sure.
What does that do with Savannah and Isabel? If I may ask. I've never seen a situation like this where, like, you would have 2 players on your team that graduated, that already graduated.
Yeah, so
how does that go, if I may ask?
We're going to celebrate our butts off on Thursday after a win, and they're going to celebrate their butts off Friday after they graduate, and then we're going to celebrate again on Saturday.
How hungover are they going to be with all that partying?
Hungover?
I said what I said.
Well, listen, I've had so many kids like have prom, and then they're up till 2 in the morning, and then they come out and play.
Right.
If you remember in college, I don't know about you, but I had a couple all-nighters, and I was good the next day. I'm like, I need to do this more. And it was the second day that kicked me.
Ma'am, I went to grad school at Berkeley, so
so
I know exactly what you're talking about.
It was very interesting. You're kind of on a high.
We've all heard the Dennis Rodman stories.
Oh.
But I guess my bigger question is, and I'm more curious from my own end, is are they still, because they're your everyday starters, so are they still eligible to like play? Because once my mindset is, my understanding is once you graduate, you're done. I'm curious, like what
Yeah, that's the only thing we've had.
So are they still roster? It could because they're still. Are they still roster eligible? Because
we're still in season. So if they started and they're on roster, we will end.
So even
no matter what.
Okay.
No matter what.
I was just kind of curious how that works because that's
a good question though because
I don't think we've seen. I've never seen it. I mean. In high school, I've never seen anything like that.
Yeah, college, I know that once you're on roster, you finish. But this is my first 2 where they're graduating before Saturday.
Yeah, this is the first year we've had state runs for Liberty. So like the coaches are asking us, I'm like, I don't know, we've never done this either.
That's a great question. That's what I'll have to say. I'm not 1,000, but I know that since they're on roster, they're part of the team. So
I know we got to get you out of here in a few minutes.
Thank you.
One last thing I have to ask. Vanden on Friday.
Yes.
Thursday. What is the calendar?
I don't even know what day of the week it is anymore.
This is only the second time you guys actually really have to travel for a game. And I mean, the first time really was to St. Mary's. Talk about just kind of now switching up, going on the road, considering you've been home pretty much throughout the entire this postseason, and how much if that changed anything, it's just like.
No, we're excited. We're just excited to play. I mean, they're a great team. It's going to be a very competitive ball game. We're looking at them and we're going to make the proper adjustments. They have a pitcher that moves the ball really well. So we're going to have to, as a hitting team, we're going to have to make those adjustments really early and take advantage of what she decides to throw us. And they're a quality defensive team as well. So. We're excited. They're number 1 seed, so let's go. We have nothing to lose at this point except to continue playing our game and to play for each other. So I'm excited. Let's go.
And then I was having Eliana at the field yesterday.
Oh, you want to talk about someone that's going to motivate and inspire you? That kid right there has fought her life. She's fought for her life. And so when you look at the game of softball, it's such a beautiful thing because it's brought us together. And you can talk about little Eliana, but she just had her 8th birthday, and she is free of cancer today.
Is she?
And so awesome. It is a celebration that we will do day in and day out for her. So for her to come out onto the field with us yesterday and be able to just be a part of our pregame, that was a testament to our belief in her and how special she is in us. And we gave her an NCS ball, and all the girls signed it for her. And I don't know if you know, before the game, we had 6 game balls. And so I told Eliana, I said, I want you to touch every one of these because you're going to be the reason we win today. And we killed it. So I'm hoping I can get her to be a part of tomorrow's game in any way.
I was going to say, is she going to... you guys can be able to bring her with you?
So hers, it's day to day on how she's feeling, and she's been in an upward way, and we just want the best for her. We're going to take it day by day, but if I could get a phone call out of her or a text message or something to go into tomorrow's game, it'll be super motivating.
You guys should FaceTime her.
I'll do whatever. I'll do whatever she's willing to do.
Tomorrow's game's really going to be good.
The craziest part, the coolest part is because I was going through the photos, and I got pictures of a few with her, and so I said the coolest part, and I'll show it to you after, is when this girl starts playing her in 6 years, you start coaching her.
Oh man, if I'm still around, I would love to.
If you're still around, it's gonna be great if you're coaching her. If I'm still around here, we have to have a different conversation.
But if I'm back here,
yes, you'll be back.
If you're back here, it's a whole different conversation.
I hope you're here. I know you're wanting to get back home.
But thank you so much.
Oh, thanks for having me. You guys are awesome.
Congratulations.
Let's do this again. Let's do it again after. That's the goal.
So next week after regionals.
I'm in. You let me know.
Hey, I have pitched on Brentwood Press on the road at the local brewery.
Okay, I'm in.
That needs to tell you something. That's coming soon, trust me. For better or worse, that's coming soon. Ladies and gentlemen, on that note, this has been another episode of Press Talk Sports Live. Each and every week, we shed a spotlight on local sports here in East County because no one else really does. Just a reminder that this podcast is brought to you by the Brentwood Press for as low as $20 a year. You too can keep up with everything happening in East County, Brentwood, Oakley, Discovery Bay area. Go to thepress.net and click on subscribe for more information. For NCS champion head coach, Brandy Macias.
Hopefully NorCal.
I just realized I'm surrounded by 2 future Hall of Famers, just so you know. This is actually awesome. This is definitely clout for me.
I need Gooch to vote me in. I know it was Madden, but please.
Hold on. First off, you need to get in. I need to do your speech. I definitely need to do y'all's speech.
Okay, you're in. You're in.
For Brandon Macias and Juan Cebrieros, I am Jeff Weisinger. Thank you so much for joining us, and as always, take care of one another. We will catch you soon.
Thank you.